Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Kevin Roth, internationally known singer, writer, and dulcimer player, and he has recorded over 50 recordings, won numerous awards, sang the theme to the hit PBS TV show Shining Time Station, and has been recognized by major companies such as Time Warner, Parents Magazine, Sony Music, among others, for his unique talent. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thanks, AJ. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Kevin, what exactly is the dulcimer player? What exactly is this? Is this an equipment? How do you play it?
Mhm.
Because for me, this is the first time I'm hearing, so I thought I'll straight ask this straight way up.
Well, the dulcimer is an American folk instrument. I have one here. It's a small version of it, but very sweet sounding, and the one behind me on the wall is a full version of it. But it's essentially American folk music instrument.
Okay, okay, and it's part of the American folk culture, you can say.
Yes.
Great, great. And so, how did you get into learning dulcimer? Is it from childhood? You've learned later on, or how did it come into your life?
Well, I was always a musical. I was born with a gift for music. I played piano, and then when I was 13, I saw a dulcimer and fell in love with it. And that's when I bought my first one. And then about 2 or 3 years later, I made my first record album.
Right, right. Yeah, you got your first record deal at age 15, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Right, right. Kevin, now let's talk about the mind body connection for ultimate health. And you are an inspiration to a lot of people. You have fought through difficult times, and now you are also a unique life coach. You help people understand things about life, about everything else. And I like the line when you said either get busy living or get busy dying, and then you started to build up from that and cure yourself from what doctor uh, told you about. But first, exactly, in terms of what makes you a unique life coach? Is it about experience? Is it about understanding life better? Is it having a illness such as this one that you had? How did it work for you? Why should people understand you are a life coach, but why should people understand that you are a unique life coach? What makes you a unique person? I know you are unique, but just for the audience to understand from your perspective through your story.
I think what makes me unique is because of the personal journey that I took with getting cancer and how I pulled myself out of that dark, negative abyss emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and recreated my life to be the kind of life I wanted it to be. So I teach from experience. I didn't take a course in how to be a life coach. I teach exactly what I do every day and what I did to make my dream life a reality. I think the other thing I do is I teach people how to integrate the relative world, the world we live in, with the spiritual, because the spiritual is as, if not more, important than this illusionary world that we live in.
Right, right. Now, if we look at a issue like stage 3 melanoma, and what the doctors told you that if you continue, this continues, then you don't have too far to go from there. Normally, a person would just be despondent, will not be able to understand which way to go. But you decided, and that is what I earlier asked, that you decided that you had one choice: either get busy living and get busy dying. What was your state of mind? What came out was very positive. A lot of people pass through difficult times, but cancer is cancer. And when anybody listens or hears about it from a doctor about his diagnosis, his or her diagnosis, it can be a very difficult moment for anybody. How did you turn that around? Did you have any background understanding of spirituality, spiritualism, anything else that guided you, anything that told you, listen, you got to come out of this, and you got to get busy living and not get busy time? This will help a lot of people understand about life from perspective, from a difficult and different perspective.
Well, AJ, I always trusted my gut. And I have an acronym for the word faith, and that is finding an intuition that helps. So, even as a young child, and I write about that in my book, Between the Notes, I'd had precognitive experiences, sort of visions of my future as a young child. There were three phases. And I saw that in the second phase of my life, I would have a successful career, but a difficult life, which I did. And then entering the third phase, I would have a major illness, which I would overcome and become a life coach or an unusual kind of a teacher. So when I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma, they removed the two spots where it was, but they said that there was a 70% chance it would return within a year, and then I would be dead within 2. And I simply didn't believe them, because you have to understand that cancer is also a business. It's a big, big billion-dollar business. And I found that the few oncologists that I went to were warm, but I could see that I was the next patient for that 15-minute interval of seeing patients. The one patient I wanted, which happened to be an Indian doctor named Dr. Gower, I couldn't get in to see. He wasn't taking new patients. So I was given another doctor who had very bad bedside manners. So when I went in to get my scans done to see if the cancer had spread anywhere, and I went in to get the results, she told me the cancer had not spread, but now I needed to have a lymphadenectomy and all kinds of things. And I asked her why, if there was no cancer, and she said it was protocol. And I told her my name is not protocol. I don't do things just because. And as I left her office quite angry, at the receptionist desk, I saw the card of the doctor I wanted to see, Dr. Gower, Rakesh Gower. And I said, I want to see him. And they said, well, you can't. He's not taking new patients. And I said, I'm not leaving until I see him, until I get an appointment. So he happened to have a cancellation at 7:30 the next morning. And I was there at 6. And I trusted my gut. What I discovered in hindsight, AJ, was that this was really a spiritual kick in the ass. It was a wake-up call to stop complaining, stop playing the victim, stop all the negativity, and realize what is happiness, because we all want happiness. And we think that money and power and getting ahead is happiness. And I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's not that having money is bad, but it ultimately does not provide happiness. Happiness is an inside job. In my book, Between the Notes, there's songs that I put at the end of each chapter, and one of them is called An Inside Job, which says you can read things like the Gita, you can read the Bible, you can read all these things, but if you're not internalizing it, if you're not giving it deep reflection and letting it change you, it simply is a book you've read. So what people need is they need the desire to change. And that's what I help people do. When they recognize I'm not happy, I'm not sure why, I don't know what to do about my life situation, they come to me and we discover what they're really looking for and a path to follow to get where they want to be.
Right, right. Kevin, you say that you thought fame and fortune equals to happiness, and then you were proved wrong. What is it? Is there something that happened? Is it about the cancer? Or is it something else? Because a lot of people, even now, they just run behind fame. They run behind fortune. Everybody wants to hit a jackpot, and it's not doesn't happen.
Right.
How what would you like to tell them about your own realization? Because even if some people understand it, then they might be just willing to make some sort of course correction, because ultimately it's all the path that you are treading, and when you reach that destination you find it's wrong, it was all wrong, you can't go back. What is it that you learned? What was there anything special that made you learn, or did you yourself got a jackpot and you thought, okay, this is not going to give me happiness, I should tell others about it? Help us understand this.
I essentially discovered that what I was searching for was, who am I? We think that we're just this body, but we're not. There's an awareness within us. You could call it a spiritual awareness, God, or whatever you want to call it. And I believe that's who we are. And quantum physics even tells you that this world is empty. It's an illusion. So because I was always a spiritual kind of guy and an artist, I I felt that there was this connection to something spiritual, but that wasn't going to be enough to make me happy or give me peace. I thought that if I had fame and I had fortune, it would open up all the doors. And when I achieved both, it didn't make me any happier. So what happened is it took cancer and a death sentence. I say in the book, there's nothing like a death sentence to wake you up. To say to myself, well, if they're saying I only have 2 years to live, which I don't believe, but let's say that they are true because they're doctors. What is all the money in the world going to do for me now? What is all the fame going to do for me now? If I'm going to die, where am I going? How did I get here? What is going to be my purpose in life? What do I want to do to make my life powerful and fun and joyful for the time I have left, whether it's 2 years or 20?
Right.
And that's when I discovered that my life purpose, which is doing this, what we're talking about here today.
Right, right. Uh, in terms of when we are talking about your cancer, you said you changed your diet. Who guided you for that? Because the doctors gave their own verdict, death sentence. You did not want to believe that. Now, what is it that guided you? Your artist spirituality, your understanding of the world, your self confidence, your confidence about your body, and then you changed your diet. Was there any specific learning? Why I'm asking this is that a lot of people, Kevin, look at alternative medicines, alternative way of looking. You looked at the diet, at your outlook, so that people can understand these things and look if there is anything beyond what the doctors are prescribing, what they are giving, maybe something, anything else extra, even in change of mindset, even in change of a bit of a diet, can help them uh, live a better life, or even cure or retrace their step from that particular point in time. What is it?
Well, I did some research. I found someone who had survived melanoma for 20 years, and she had stage 4 cancer. So, through the research and talking to Prudence Sinclair, who was the person that helped guide me, I discovered that stress and inflammation were two of the leading causes of all illnesses. So I also discovered that processed sugar, refined carbohydrates all add to a person's body weight and are unhealthy. So at that time, what I did is I found a holistic doctor and worked with him, and basically cut out sugars and breads and refined this and stuck to mostly a plant-based, some protein, whole foods diet. So I lost about 25, 30 pounds at the time. And and then later in my life, I discovered intermittent fasting, which I really enjoy. So that's basically what I did to change my diet. Is I just, found out what I should eat and what I shouldn't eat, and then don't eat a lot of what you should eat. Just, eat what you need.
Right, right, right. And then you moved from Kansas to San Diego, and now you created a life worth living on your terms. Why do you say so? Earlier, before that, wasn't it a life which was living on your own terms? Is it after that you started living well? Is it why people call in an illness sometimes a blessing in disguise? How can people learn about this aspect of life without having to go through the difficult times that you went?
That's a great question. So what I tell people to do when I do consultations over Zoom, and all of this, by the way, all this information and the steps that I took and that I teach are in my book. So if you can't remember what I'm saying, you can find it in my book between the notes. You have to ask yourself three major questions. The first one is, what really matters to me? Do I need an expensive car? Do I need a lot of credit card debt? Do I need a big house? Do I need a lot of people? Or will I be happier living more simply, more happily? So what matters is the first thing. The second thing is, why does it matter to you? Why is it important? And the third thing is, now that you know what matters and why it matters, what are you going to do to change your life? What are those steps? So in the book, there are 11 essential questions that I ask the readers to ask themselves, and to discover really their own journey. We all have a purpose in life. And when you discover that you can live from that purpose and you live authentically, you're not living just to pay debts and credit cards and become famous and rich. You live a more fulfilling life, and then everything works. So emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual is a whole. And all of those things need to be in balance. So there are things I write about called balancing tools. So as an example, if I'm feeling, let's say I'm feeling stressed out, which I rarely do, but if I do, I'll go for a hike because I know that clears my mind. Because all the problems are the mind. It's the monkey mind. What we think is true usually isn't. A good question to ask yourself is, this thing that bothers me, let's say, I think my boss is going to fire me. You need to ask yourself, is that true? Do you have actual proof of that? Or are you projecting and are you worrying? So everything is the mind. One of the things that I teach is Dulcimer meditation, where you play the dulcimer and learn to listen to your inner voice. So if we can quiet the monkey mind, then we're holding the banana and we're in charge.
Right, right. But
So all the tools and things that I talked about I explain, in the book and when I talk to people like yourself.
right, right. Do you have those tools also? How to control your monkey mind? Is it that easy?
Yes and no. It's easy because one of the expressions I use a lot is um, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And when you find a different way of doing things and you find that it works, you don't go back to the other way. So let's say you're a chronic worrier. You get up Monday morning, you think, oh God, I've got to go to work. It's going to be a horrible day. If you change your thinking and you think, this could be a really good day, or I can look forward to certain things, and I'm worrying about something that has not happened yet, I'm projecting negativity. If you switch that thinking and say, this could be a great day, I've got some friends at work, and I feel lucky that I even have a job, or maybe you work for yourself, then the monkey mind quiets down. So when you put light in a dark room, the darkness can't stay, right? So what happens is you develop a taste and an excitement about thinking more positively and more realistically, and you let go of the negative stuff and the monkey mind chatter, and you just say, it's like a little baby, keep quiet. Well, here's a toy, go play with this for a while and we'll come back from it. So over a period of time, it does work. And that's why I wrote about the tools and the benefits that you can use throughout the day when things come up, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, that you can actually apply that do work. They work for me, they work for my clients and my students.
Right, right. Uh, how would you like to tell people about happiness and success, Kevin? Because it can be very confusing to a lot of people. And second thing is it that we humans have become ungrateful? We don't have that feeling of gratitude, and that is the main reason of our problems, that we never see what we have got and always see what others have got and what we have not.
I think to a large degree that's true. But again, it's our mind giving us, the monkey mind telling us things that are based on fear, which is false evidence appearing real. I may think that I'm going to go outside and get hit by a car. I'm projecting that something terrible is going to happen. It's not true. I may go outside and there may not be even a car on the road. So fear is a big problem. And again, that comes back to the monkey mind. So what is happiness? Happiness really is being authentically who you are, loving yourself, and doing what makes you feel encouraged and gives you energy. And what makes you unhappy is adding things to your life, like bigger cars, bigger homes, more this, more that are really, in a sense, an addiction. People take drugs and drink and all kinds of things to numb out these fears and the monkey mind. So we suppress it by numbing it out. When you get to the heart of really what you're numbing and you open it up and you say, and you look at it and you say, this isn't really true. This isn't really, this is a projection of negativity. It's based on fear. Then you begin to feel more in control of your life.
Right.
And that's what will give you happiness, along with knowing that who you are essentially, that awareness in you, whether you call it God or Buddha or Shiva or whatever you call it, is real. It's more real than this temporary existence.
Right,
That's been
Kevin.
my
Well,
experience.
yeah, yeah, well put, Kevin. Well put. And now, who is this book for, Kevin? And is it possible to hold it in your hand to show it closer to the audience?
Oh,
Is it nearby? Very close? Okay, I could see
yeah,
here.
there it is.
Wonderful.
So it's called Between the Notes. And it talks about how to change your attitude from surviving to thriving, explore life options that harmonize with your passions, create a map that helps you, and questions and the tools and things like that. the reason I wrote the book is because people keep asking me, what did you do to get through that horrible death sentence? And how did you survive all of that? So I wrote the book, and in at the end of each chapter, there's song lyrics that go with what I wrote from based on songs that I'd written a while
Right.
back. So there's an audio version, there's an album of music, and then there's the paperback and an ebook and all of that. The paperback's available on Amazon now. Um, I don't like to overly promote the book, but really all the questions that people ask me are in the book. And people who have bought the book really enjoy it and give nice reviews on Amazon because they say, this is your journey, but I see so much of my own journey in yours. And that's what's important. You know, that's the thing. Because it's a human connection, you know. I'm not the first or the last one to ever get cancer. But the reason I believe I survived the 70% chance of dying is to engage with you and your audience and to tell them, this is what I've discovered. This is the truth of what I know. And this is what keeps me relatively happy. But I also want to tell you one thing. I'm not happy all the time. You know, happiness comes and goes. Happiness is a mental thing. I'm much happier than I was. I think I have a very beautiful life. I'm healthy. Uh, I don't really have many complaints, and when I do, I conduct the monkey mind, and I throw them a banana, and they go away. So, happiness is not a constant state. Happiness, on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is really, 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 really happy, I like being around a 7 and an 8. I don't like to get unhappy, and I don't like to get overly happy, you know. But there are things that make me very happy, and things that don't. You know what? I'll share with you something that I don't usually share with any other people on the podcast. I'm going to show you the greatest source of my happiness. Are you ready? This is a first. This is Bosco. He's my little miniature dachshund. I write about him in the book. Look at him. See, he's bored with hearing me
Right.
talk about him.
Yes.
Are you a love cookie? Do you give me a lot of happiness? Do you? Yes, he's giving me kisses. Pets are wonderful. But I go around all over the place with Bosco, and people love him. He's become quite a character on Facebook and in the book and things like that. So it's the simple things
Wonderful.
like a good lick from your puppy is a great joy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Kevin. So, book is available on Amazon. You said about
Yes.
how do people connect with you, Kevin, so that they know more about you? They can engage you in case they want to get this coaching from you.
Well, of course, all my information is in the book between the notes on Amazon, and my website is very simple. It's Kevin Roth, ROTH.org. And you can buy the book on the website. You can buy Dulcimers. You can see pictures of Bosco. And then I have a YouTube channel and Facebook and all of that stuff. I'm not a big social media guy. I'm more of a quieter coach. I'm not interested in being one of these rock star coaches. I think the people who come to me and who work with me are the ones that are supposed to. And I only work with a certain amount of people at a time, and because I like to give a lot of attention to the students and clients.
Right, right, Kevin. My last question to you, Kevin, is that you have seen life from very close. The good, the not so good, and life, a good life after winning over your health issues. Where is it now? What is it that you seek for yourself now? Where is it that you want to go now? How do you look at the future from now here?
It's exactly what I'm doing, to continually try and understand that awareness spiritually of what the reality is. I talk a lot about that in the book. We were talking earlier before the podcast that I enjoy the works of Ramana Maharshi, and more books, more music, and the greatest thing I really love are these kinds of conversations and conversations with my clients, and to see my clients change. You know, that's really wonderful. I've had a lot of people come to me with a lot of very serious problems and unhappiness, and by working together, their lives. They've had their own awakening, their own aha moment by the work that with themselves, you know, with my guidance. And that's very, very, it's a real blessing, really. And I'm sure that that's the reason I survived melanoma, is to pass this information on to other people that you can be happy. You don't need to live within the monkeys.
Right. On this happy note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for
No,
joining
thank you,
us.
AJ. It was great talking with you.